There's a real discrepancy between the level of innovation we see at work and at home, and I'm here to kind of bridge that gap.
Adrienne, you're the CEO and co-founder of EEVA. It's
I
been
am.
3.5 years. So I'm just wondering, how did it all start? And how do you go from this is a good idea to I want to spend years of my life working on this project?
Yeah, there's so many steps that happen between those two kind of state of minds. I'll start off by saying I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. It was not something that I aspired to or that I set out looking for. Much like yourself, I had a 9 to 5 and I loved it. I loved what I did. I loved my job. I loved the people I worked with. So my background is in operational leadership. So I held roles like COO, operations director, executive director. My expertise was going into organizations that needed to do a lot of things with very few things. So organizations like charities or tech startups that needed to do the most with very little. And I loved my job. But because of that job, I was used to working with really powerful software, as I'm sure you are too. CRMs, ERPs, project management softwares. We're talking, Jira, Asana, some really powerful stuff. And then in my personal life, during the pandemic, I bought my first house. Homeownership was a new kind of milestone for me. So, in and of itself, it was very chaotic. But I don't know if you've ever bought a new property, but it comes with a ton of new information. User manuals for the appliances, post-it notes, little scribbles. You have to do this in the fall. You have to do this in the spring. All of a sudden I have a chimney and I don't know how to take care of a chimney. Like, what do you have to do? And so because of my background, I looked for something to help me in my home just as much as I have tools that help me at work. I can track my billable time down to the minute at work, but at home, my grocery list or to-do list, they're all on a whiteboard in the kitchen, or I'm using filing cabinets to store these user manuals or whatever it is. So once I noticed that discrepancy, I did some research to try and see if I was, you know, if there was a use case there. One, if there was a solution out there that would solve my problem. That research came up with a few things. One, there really wasn't anything as powerful as what I was used to at work. And that research slowly evolved into competitor analysis, user interviews, market analysis, all of that stuff. Because I have a background, it just naturally evolved. So I spent a year doing research before coming up with the conclusion that there is a use case here, there is a need in the market, there's an opportunity, and I think I'm the right person to do this. So it took a year before I jumped in feet first.
The problem is clear. So how does EVA
The
solve it?
problem is clear. Exactly.
So how does EVA solve it?
So we take the innovation that we have seen at work and we bring it for your day-to-day life. The structure, we give you a structure that's very modular that can adapt to what your life looks like because your life doesn't look like what my life looks like. You might have kids, you might have pets, you might have, I don't know what your kind of circle and your day-to-day looks like, but we've created a modular structure that can adapt to that. And that plays nice with all of the stuff you're already using. So, whatever kind of information you have floating around, whether it's in your head, whether it's in your email, whether it's on a little post-it note you have kept somewhere, you can input it super easily into EVA and we will organize it and help you stay on track and anticipate what's coming up.
Again, you mentioned that at the office we have all these tools.
Yeah.
And so the people who have these tools at the office, they go back home and they feel like, there's this lack of structure. So is this targeted specifically for people who are used to these more advanced software at work, or is it for the average person that can use it as well?
It is meant to be for the average person. We want to help everybody. Everybody could use EVA to help in some way, no matter what their life looks like. Since we're only just starting off, we have initially targeted people who are used to working with powerful software at work. So specifically millennials, a bit of Gen Zers, the younger adults. They are really they're really open to using technology in a way that serves them. They're used to working with things like apps and softwares. And so the jump to something as powerful as EVA isn't a big jump for them.
And that makes a lot of sense.
I think
I
so.
mean, just
Yeah.
talking to you, I'm like, I've had this conversation many times about
Of course.
chaos at home. The things you
Everybody's got
forget.
their stuff, and that's an important thing. A lot of our competitors are focusing on parenting because once you have kids, everything is chaotic. It's, even crazier than your life was before. But everybody's life is chaos, no matter what it looks like. And we are here to help with that. And and technology has some really cool opportunities to do that.
That's awesome. So, Adrienne, you're the co-founder.
I
Who's the
am.
who else is on the team?
So we have my Jared. Jared is my co-founder. I brought him on very quickly after I started EVA about 6 months in. We're on paper, we're quite similar. He also has a business background, but personality-wise, he's very different. His specialty is sales and partnerships. So he is responsible for selling EVA out into the world and raising funds, which we have been incredibly successful at. And of
Yes, you
course,
have.
yes, we have, yes,
Um,
close to $3 million pre-revenue. So we're really proud of that. I'm one of the top companies in 2024 to raise as many funds in Canada. And on top of that, yeah, the rest of the team, we've hired some really cool A players. Like they are top of the line, the tech team, because that is the one thing that differentiates. That's neither myself nor my co-founder are tech people. So to be leading a tech company when you don't have a tech background is very interesting. And that's definitely been reflected in our journey so far. The mistakes we've made have been primarily on the tech side. On the business side, we've done very well.
so I guess the follow-up to all this is a lot of people that I talk to, they struggle with funding. Do you think you got
Yeah.
lucky, or do you think that you have experience, or was it A/B testing? How do you get to where you are today?
Yeah, so well, like I said, before jumping into this, I spent a year while I was still working full time doing really extensive research. I'm not gonna luck perhaps played a part in it because I have a business background. I have an MBA. I knew how to do these things, all of this research, the interviews, the competitor analysis, SWOT analysis, all of those check marks. I was able to do that myself, where a typical tech startup founder has a tech background. They don't know how to do that angle of it. So I went into it pretty informed, which helps with investors because you have thought out why this is a good opportunity, why it makes sense from an investment perspective. You can outline the need, your target customer. Our business plan was very well fleshed out from the start. So that builds confidence with investors. And my co-founder and myself are very good at telling the story, selling the vision, and explaining what problem we're solving. That also resonates with investors. So we have been incredibly successful in raising the funds, but I think it's a combination of the fact that we leaned on our strengths more than anything else. Like we knew we were weaker on the tech side, so we did not put that forward. We leaned on our business background and the storytelling, and we were just, authentically ourselves. This is who you are. This is who we are. This is what you get, and this is what we want to build. And that really resonated. Yeah.
So that
It really wasn't that we had an extended network, or it was that we knew how to talk to investors. Technology nowadays is no longer a differentiator. Like you said, anyone can build an app. So we like to say we're a tech-enabled company. We are not a technology company. Tech is just happens to be how we solve the problem. If tomorrow there is a better way to solve this problem for our users, then we will go in that direction. But for now, we really believe that it's technology.
So Adrienne, you raised the money. What do you do with it? Did you have a plan from the get-go?
Yes. So we built the money incrementally, and I think that's important to share. We did not raise $3 million like in one shot. The first amount I raised was $50,000, and that got me enough money to build a website and build a presence, as well as, a really fleshed out pitch deck and investor deck to really convey the vision and what we were going for. So the website, the deck, all of that, incorporating the company got us enough to raise $100,000. And so we used that to build, a mock-up, which got us enough to raise $500,000, which is enough to build like an MVP version. The MVP version got us enough funding to build the real version. And so that's why it's taken 3 years is a long time. But if you take into account the fact that my co-founder and I are not tech people, so we could not just, hunker down and build the thing. We actually had to hire people to do it. It took us a while to get the real version of the product out, and we're still in the middle of, not in the middle, we're at the tail end of coming out with a new and improved version. But we went about it incrementally, kind of leveraging each step to be able to build onto it and grow.
How did it feel that first 50K?
Yeah, it felt I mean, we are our own worst enemy, right? I raised it and I was like, okay, this is real. I can now say I've raised funding, which is impressive. On the other hand, I was my own worst critic and I was like, okay, $50,000 is not much. I can't do a lot with that, but let's see what I can do with it. And I would say the more impressive milestones for me were just being able to leverage the smaller amounts to get bigger amounts. Every time we raised a new amount, it was larger than the amount previously. So that's the part that was validating. It was more the trajectory versus any specific deal or anything.
Again, I'm gonna end with this. We've been talking about milestones. What's the next big milestone for EVA?
Yeah, we are coming out with what we're calling as our version two. So it's new and improved. We learned a lot of lessons on the tech side. So the initial version we released in January uh, was not up to snuff when it came to the tech. We got a bunch of users, but the tech couldn't withstand. So we learned a lot of things, and so we rebuilt it. We added AI, and now our version two is coming out within the next couple weeks. So I'm very excited about it.
And I'm just curious, when you launched it in January, did you immediately get a lot of feedback like this is not working, that's not working? And did you take this in a good way? Like, okay, great,
Yes.
people are responding, so I need to improve.
Yes. We love feedback. We are very in touch with our users, and we're lucky enough to have a group of users that are very engaged and that are always willing to give us feedback. Yeah, we launched at CES. Actually, we were voted the top Canadian company at CES, so that got us a lot of eyes on our product. A lot of people trying it out. We got a lot of feedback. A lot of it was great. It really spurred us on and confirmed that the value is there. There's impact, and we're on the right track. But unfortunately, the tech kind of limited us in what we could do, and so that's why we rebuilt.
Again, I love what you guys are doing. I love the
Thank you.
attitude. Thank you so much for
Thank
doing this.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. This was fun.